one more thing.
We're going to find out a lot about you. We've got a little game to play, haven't we, regarding the new
Yeah.
album, which I'm really excited about. So, for anybody watching now, we decided to talk about the album. We would pick some favorites and stuff like
Hmm.
that and get some stories. And this is a really, really hard task. And I know from years of interviewing people, asking people to pick their favorite tracks or prominent tracks from an album. It's like, yeah, that's like picking your kids. Like, that's it. It's not cool. So, sorry to put you in that position to begin with, really.
Yeah, with the amount of music that I put out as well, it gets harder and harder. It gets harder and
Yeah.
harder and stuff as well. But
Especially with an album as personal as this, I would imagine there's no tracks that you'd want to cut. Like this is all completely raw, 100% uncut dilly. So
yeah,
yeah, this
yeah. I'd say at first I was gonna pick like my three at least anyway. I was gonna pick Cabin Fever, No More Second Guessing, and Letter to My Younger Self and stuff.
cool.
Mainly because Cabin Fever and No More Second Guessing, they're the bookends. Do you know what I mean? That's the start of the journey that we're going to go on, and that's the conclusion, the finish of the journey that we're going to go on. But I decided to leave those two for the album. Do you know what I mean? And zero
Yeah.
in more on like the ones that really like connect with me. And my first one is Here Alone. Hesitation got me in a rut, held back by a run of just fucking it up. Insecurities invaded my common logic. I've suffered some beatings from it, so chronic I'm blazing it up. Yeah, took no time to ever fix myself. Tunnel vision had me tripping. I'm missing the clues given by intuition. I'm slipping in this living hell. Another day the sun is twisted by a different spell. The reason why it's a favorite is because of the instrumental itself. Like I love soul and like R&B, neo soul. Really love like lo-fi hip hop and how rebellious it is in terms of it's all rough and ready. There's no polish. There's no, do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Really zeroing in on frequencies. If it's a vibe, if it feels good, it goes out as is. Like no one's worrying
Yeah.
about loudness wars and things like that. But then on top of that as well, I think it was one of the first tracks where like I'm really holding myself accountable when it comes to relationships, when it comes to um, how intertwined my mental health is when it comes to things like that, you know? And
Now, is this the track where you're talking about not being in a relationship for a long, 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 long period of time?
yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. Yeah.
yeah, over 10 years now, I've not been in a relationship. And yeah, like on the outside, you would think, or normally it's seen as like, well, if some recent social media discussions are anything to go by, that's now being seen as a red flag that someone's been single for a long time and stuff. Like in sort of male sort of social media circles, that would like you would be seen as weak or this, that, and the third. But being on my own for that long has given me so much strength in terms of understanding myself, understanding how I am in relationships, what my
Yeah.
boundaries are in relationships, understanding other people's boundaries, do you know what I mean? And how you can compare, contrast, and compromise when it comes to those kind of things. And especially being like in my 40s now, like when it comes to relationships, I want companionship. Like, yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
amazing if we could go on holidays and do all this fairy tale stuff. Oh, it'd be amazing in that in this economy. But yeah, it would be amazing. But me, though, the real things are like having that person to come home to, cuddles. I'm a big soft ass when it comes to being in relationships. I love being in love. I love being loved, and I love loving somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you know that may sound boring in this current climate, but that's what's home to me. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
being on my own for that long has helped me to, you know, be okay with loving myself and being in my own space, understanding myself and finding value in myself and knowing that's the value that I can bring to a relationship and bring to somebody else. Learning to not stop lusting for things that are out of my league and that like Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, Beyonce is beautiful. I have no chance. Like, stop.
I really loved your honesty on that, and I think that's brilliant. So for my first pick was One Sec, which I think could probably be
Uh,
seen as a skit.
Sound is a pound, yo, why the fuck you even here? You're not around when I'm down, G. Puss you all. Don't get me vexed, I ain't got time. Someone I used to know, so now your problems are not mine. That bridge is fucking burnt, stop trying to make up for lost time. You got me moving cold, that's why you're feeling this frostbite.
But I want to hear Dilly in that mode more often. That's you,
yeah.
Chopsy. Like you go in hard, and there's a line there. I think what was it? I've got my notes here now. Where it's like which, and I am going to say these words, but I'll say them in my Welsh accent because I think it sounds funny. Which blood clot DJ do you know who can DJ, MC, and produce a full Rasclat set? And it's true. Like this is like for years I was aware of you, but I thought you were a singer or a rapper. And then suddenly there's Diligent Fingers EPs, which are instrumental. So it's like, hold on a minute, he's producing his own beats as well. What the hell? Like, you know, and that is like you there are very, very few people in this game who can do the whole lot and do them all really, really, really well. And I think for you to own that, you know, when we're talking about you owning your victories and looking back and going, yeah, I'm on the right track, I'm doing this, I'm winning. I think One Sec is a track where you are saying that you're winning and there's humor in it. There's a statement about the industry. There's you're owning all of the things you can do. And that was the first standout for me. That one was like,
I,
when did that come into the whole process for you and the stage of the album coming together?
it started, and I've got to give him the biggest shout out. I have to. It started with Vibes Master Murder sending me a series of voice notes on Instagram a few
Brilliant.
years ago. Yeah, during I think it was during lockdown. I think it was 2021, or maybe 2021. I think it was. Um, something I think something had happened. I'd fallen out with some sort of label or something. And back then I was very like outspoken, very public in terms of like how I was feeling. I had a lot to say about like the industry, the scene, in terms of, you know, how it is affecting artists, shady, like just a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I think it was something to do with like some people, some like fans or like just general listeners, or I'm not sure. Names that I don't recognize in that, like the public, and I don't mean that in a horrible
No,
way. I just people that I don't know, but the public, you know, started talking about like, well, you need to start making tunes for this kind of era if you want to be successful in this, that, and the third. And Vibe saw that, saw all of that because he'd been following me for ages and stuff, and he could tell that it was getting to me in the way that I was responding. And he just sent me like five, six voice notes, just really boosting me up and just be like, look, no, I've seen you do this, I've seen you do that. Don't listen to nobody, they're all bad minded, like all of this stuff. And it really gave me a boost because me and Vibes Master Murder have never met. That was the first time we'd ever had any kind of conversation. And for him, for his first sort of approach to be, no, give this person positivity, like give this person encouragement. Like I see what he can do. Do you know what I mean? And letting me know he basically believes in me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I had to just message him and just be like, yo, do you mind if I use some of these voice notes? And he was like, I'd be honored, but like, no one's ever asked me anything like that. I've never, like, and he's an MC, older generation MC within the drum and bass scene himself. And I look at him, he's part of the old guard of like, even like, you know, oh my God, Ragga Twins
Mm.
and like people like that, you know, and to see him still in the scene, do you know what I mean? Still having a passion for the scene and stuff like that. It just gave me so much encouragement. And then the second
Brilliant.
part of it was being on Discord and meeting Portrait. And like amazing guy, absolutely amazing, amazing producer. Amazing. Like it, I wish he had more faith in his productions. I'm sure he's getting it now. I'm sure he's getting that encouragement from having releases on Trex's label. I'm so bad at the moment because I'm trying to remember all the stuff, but all type tracks as well. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like on his label, like he's getting releases on Phase Records and places like that, getting plays on Vision and things like him getting the notoriety and the recognition that he deserves is amazing. From seeing from when I met him in lockdown, do you know what I mean? And like him showing me stuff, but just not having that confidence, to now him actually putting stuff out and getting that recognition. Yeah, amazing, man. Like he's such a talented producer. I'm so proud of him. And he just sent me a load of beats, and that was one of them. And instantly it was like, I really want to use that. I'm not sure what for yet, but I really want to use that. And then I was listening to it one day, um, and yeah, just the idea came. I think I'd had an argument with somebody. Like, I
Uh,
think I'd had an argument with someone who I was working quite close with and stuff, and we'd had a disagreement like on something and that, and when like certain things get said or certain assumptions are made, and like, oh, you won't be this if it wasn't for me, and all this kind of talk, and it's like,
uh,
like at that moment, it was one of them where I'm looking around at everything that I've done. I'm looking at my studio, like I'm looking at Spotify, this Spotify playlist that I've made, and I've got 200 tracks in this playlist, all from me. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like, I've never needed any of yous. Do you know what I mean? I've been happy to help. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of person that I am. But the moment you turn around and start talking about, I need you for something, like I was blessed, but I
yeah.
was blessed when you found me. Enough blessings around me. Sound as a pound. Yo, why the fuck you even here? You're not around when I'm down, G. Do you know what I mean? It was like, hold on, hold. Let me
Yeah.
just put this in its place and nip this in the bud, like for 1 second, and to have that moment of, nah, I'm a bad man, like, nah, hold on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and you need those. You do need those every now and again. Like, hold. I am me.
I'm really glad I picked that. Right. What's your next pick now?
So my next one is Letter to My Younger Self.
I've come a long way since the days of going the wrong way. Took some beatings, but still I've got a strong frame. Life is short, but I'm working through these long days. And some say sky is the limit. I think they're seeing it the wrong way. The sky is infinite, but I don't give a fuck what some say.
Oh, I was
Like,
going to pick that one as
yeah.
well because I think
Ah.
anybody is going to want to do that. And really, when it was, especially when you're really looking back over all the mistakes you've made, all of the things you think were your mistake, but actually it was the context, the circumstances, the situation, the people who were responsible for you, or anything like that, the environment that you were in.
Yeah,
That a lot of
yeah.
things you blame yourself for aren't your fault.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, yeah, like just how it all came about. Again, another probably another epiphany of like really digging deep to like dig deep into like what the concept of this track actually means and stuff, like if I had a chance to write a letter to my younger self, what would I say? What would I do? What would I let you know? Do you know what I mean? That would help you. Do you know what I'm saying? And stop you being so naive and that. Because back then, back in 2008, 2009 and stuff, even up to 2012, I was so naive. So naive.
I'm trying to
So
work out how old you would have been then. So you would have been, you're a couple of years younger than me. So you would have been like
I would have
late
been into my
30s.
30s, yeah, like 30, 31 and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, and which doesn't sound that young, but for me, considering like I
When you're in your
really got
40s, it's
into,
super young. Like,
yeah, and considering like I really got into this game, like seriously in 2003, and that like it's not. I got onto like the whole being an artist thing late and stuff. It was just a hobby up until being like turning 19 years old and finding out like, oh, you can actually really do this, like and stuff.
mm,
And especially like having struggles with my identity back then, like, okay, like I come from Moss Side, which is known for this. Like I'm Jamaican, but I'm British. But I like all of these. weird things that are not normally associated with Jamaicans. Like I like Shakespeare, like I like anime, I like computer games, like like I like nerdy stuff. I don't mind climbing up mountains and going ice skating and roller skate, like all of these things. And then music got involved, and then I fell in love with drum and bass. Not like I love jungle, and I fell in love with jungle, but I really fell in love with drum and bass and
Yeah,
stuff at a
yeah,
time where, it was shifting, and the negative stigma that was surrounding jungle and the badness that was happening in clubs and stuff like that. There was a shift away from that reputation sort of things that was even affecting like club events and stuff like that. So at a time where it was shifting its identity, and people like Benjamin was starting to come through, and like things like that, there was this feeling like, oh, you're doing white people shit. Do you know what I mean? At that time, and
yeah,
it was like, no, but there's Brian G, like, right, Ronnie Size, Jumping Jack Frost, like, there's all. Hold on. DJ SS,
yeah,
Shy Effects. You guys love Shy Effects. Like what is like? It was so mad. So yeah, being coming from that time and then getting another 10, like getting 10 years in, and still having this naivety of like the music industry and only doing it for love, but struggling with money and struggling like family stuff and you know relationships and stuff like that. It was like, okay, no, I'm trying to make this statement, but I know that my heart is not fully in what I'm saying back then. Like I know for a fact, but I'm trying to prove to my mom, I'm trying to prove to all of these people. And I don't even know what it is that I'm trying to prove because I'm not sure
yeah.
if I can really get there myself. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying it in this verse, and this is me. This is me drowning underwater. I'm just trying to breathe. This is me living through my mother being more than a man because I need this. I eat shit, live and breathe this. Enough to make me question what the fuck my belief is. I never used to think there was a space to achieving. My confidence had taken a beating, but I'm still reaching. And I don't even know what for. Do you know what I mean? There
Oh
was
wow, go on. Woo-hoo.
all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like when I'm really thinking about it at this age, like a couple of years ago, when I actually got it down, and I'm like, wow, like there's so much that I need to tell him, but he also needs to live through it to learn from it. Otherwise, I won't have this experience to tell him of. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah. So you probably did some time traveling with that then. You really, really thought that wasn't just like a letter, just like listing all the mistakes that you could, avoid or things like that. This is more
yeah.
like you properly deconstructed who you were back then and what it was that was causing you to be who you were back then.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, at that time, at this time, I've had 10 years of counselling and therapy, and I've been able to really get to grips with like why things are affecting me the way that they are. Like recognize the inner child that still needs love and comfort and understanding and answers, and do you know what I mean? Is still lashing
Mm,
out and stuff like that. All of these things like being able to look back clearly or as clear as possible within reason. Do you know what I'm saying? And be like, right, okay, this is this
yeah.
this is what I would say, and just remember, you are a black king. You are 10 toes down. Like all of these things, that my mum would tell me as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's really special track for me. That really, really special. Yeah.
Brilliant. And with a lot of these tracks, like, it took you a long time to really embrace cabin fever and listen to yourself.
Hmm.
Was that the case with a lot of these, or did cabin fever kind of break the mold for you in that way? And then, once you kind of realized that you could write that deeply to yourself and about yourself, did you find it easier to put all of these kind of songs together and get that personal and not feel so intense with yourself? Like it's weird hearing yourself back, isn't it? It's exactly what we are talking about in the last interview with Sahela. Like I've only ever done it once and I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever do it again. It's just like, wow, like really looking deep, deep, deep into the rabbit hole of yourself is uncomfortable, but it feels like with every track you got more comfortable knowing yourself and learning about yourself and articulating these really complex feelings, especially for yourself. There are parts of that I can't relate to, when you're kind of brought up in Britain, but like as a, your identity as a young black man, but also your identity as a British man and all of these kind of things. Like there's a lot of stuff that I can imagine, but I can't quite, completely empathize with because that's something that you would have gone through. And that
Yeah.
must be, these are complex things that you've been unraveling, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You're right in terms of cabin fever was the catalyst. Cabin fever was the gateway to being able to sort of open up a lot more about things and be comfortable with them. I think the real breakthrough was a mixtape that I made called Black. And that came after cabin fever. But it was a moment, and to be fair, it's a lot more raw than even this and cabin fever. But it was at a point in, I think this is 2017, I think it is. It was at a point where I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. All of these things that are really horrible, really, I have no control over them, but they haunt me. Do you know what I mean? They really affect my mental in so many detrimental ways. I need to offload them. I need to offload them in some way. And I was at a point where I was listening to a lot of instrumentals as well as making instrumentals for like Millennium jazz music and places like that. And I kept finding like instrumentals are my favorite old school hip hop tracks. Do you know what I'm saying? And like they were bringing all of these emotions out of me and all of these feelings. I'm just like, right, yeah, it's going down on this, yeah, this, and over time it just accumulated into this mixtape. And it was like, once this is out, it's done. It's chapter closed. Like I'm walking away from all of this stuff. I've done counseling. I've done therapy. Like I just want this to stop affecting me. And if saying it out and putting it out into the universe, and if family hear it and they have problems with it, so be it. But it's out there now. Like
Yeah.
it's done. Do you know what I mean? Or at least that's what I thought. But doing that, biggest weight off my shoulders.
I was
Biggest,
gonna
biggest
say
weight
that
off my
must have felt
shoulders.
great once you got that out there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just the catharsis of actually getting it off your chest, really, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I think if there's a project that I find really hard to go back to because it brings me right back to those moments, it's that one because I purposely made it to be like, boom, done, move on from it kind of thing. Like out of everything that I've made, is probably that's the one that I'm the most proud of, but it's the hardest one to go back to.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to flip the switch for my next choice now, and I'm going to
Okay.
go on just Dilly the producer. Like, because
Okay.
there are some bangers, like when you're getting into the album, it's like, wow, okay, like, but then you flip it, it's constantly flipping all of the time and just showing the many different shades. And True Vet, like True
Yeah.
Vet, I mean, that for me is kind of reminiscent of like Navigator and Tenor Fly, like that chorus, or like Freestylers or something. I'm literally ripping in goosebumps now. Just this is again, it's you being a bad man. I mean, all of the tracks that I've picked are, Dilly with the Edge. Like this is the Dilly
Yeah.
that I want to see, and it could because I can feel the confidence.
You know see how we do it. Don't make a man come kick out your teeth. Why? Cause we not take no cheat. Military speech cause we not see defeat. Why? See how we do it. Don't make a man kick out your teeth. Why? Cause we not take no cheat. Military speech cause we not see defeat. Why?
Inside the rave.
This is the Dilly. More people need to know that this is the Dilly that's going to knock them out cold in the dance, like, and
Yeah.
have these type of tracks. And it's a big track. I mean, it's kind of, it touches on like, the kind of like a little bit of Pendulum, a little bit of Chase and Status, Freestylers for me as well. That big kind of sing along, like Serial
Hmm.
Killers. It's a sound system absolute slayer. Like, so I mean,
Yeah.
where did these? Because there's a few of these. There's two or three big bangers in amongst all of these deep personal pieces. When did they come into the whole arrangement of the album? Were they a bit later to balance things out, or was there something about True Vet in particular which made you think, no, this is album material rather than a club release?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because well, originally it was supposed to be a remix originally.
Ah, right.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be a remix, and it ended up falling through. It was supposed to go on the new label that was coming out that was sort of bringing back like old school garage type of tracks and stuff like that. And they asked me to do a remix of a certain garage track. Um, and for one reason or another, I still don't know to this day. The label ended up like not actually set starting up and stuff like that. So I just had this track, took the samples out, and there was still a good body, like good amount of the original track left for me to be able to just go, oh, I'll just like change some certain aspects. But then when it came to, okay, what does this track actually represent and stuff? Again, all of the inspirations that came to like me making it, all of the things that I love about, black culture, black British music culture. Do you know what I'm saying? Old jungle, old rave music. And that there's little instances of like, Prodigy in there, as well as, you know, a guy called Gerald, and
Mm,
all of these little callbacks and little nuggets of inspiration from all of these things. And from having that feeling but brought up to a modern day, like present day, um again just showed like how long I've actually been in this. And that, as far as I'm concerned, like if you reach 20 years and that, like, you're a veteran in this, like you are definitely a veteran in this. And
yeah.
I'm glad that, like, as much as the money would be nice, if I was like to be a level where other people expect me to be, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I should be getting, the boo bookings and this, that, and the third. Like, and I love that for people. I appreciate it so much that you think that highly of me. But in terms of where I am, the fact that I'm happy, I believe I'm successful. That's it for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Do you know what I mean? And I've been true to that success. I've not sold myself out in any way, shape, or form. I've not sold others out in any way, shape, or form. I've been true to myself. And as a result,
Yeah.
I've been true to this game. I'm a true vet.
Yeah, you
Done
haven't
and
stepped on
dusted.
anyone, exploited anyone, ripped people off, or any of these other things that other people may or may not have done to get to the top. Not anybody that we mentioned in this call,
Hmm.
like just
Nah,
in case
none.
anybody's reading into that. But it is
Yeah.
again, there are lots and lots of horror stories. It is the music industry in that way, and yeah, if you've walked the line, to quote Johnny Cash, in that type of way, and you've done it by true, like you've done it true to yourself and true to other people and true to the culture, then
Mhm.
yeah, and 20 years is veteran. I think that is like in like kind of military kind of gauges. I think 20 years is a veteran. I think, or maybe you've got to have fought a war, but I mean, you're fighting four wars right here, a whole process of them, and that kind of feeling of going into war every single day. Like, I think, it fits in with the kind of war vibe there. And again, you're literally talking about smashing people up in the
Yeah.
chorus. And because I know you, I think it's great to hear that from you. And maybe if I didn't know you and I heard that, I'd be like, oh my God, that Dilly is a bad man. Like, don't want to offend him or anything.
How
And I mean, I wouldn't want
lovely.
to offend you because I respect you, but it was not because I'd be in fear of having my jaw broken or is it jaw breaking or chest breaking? I can't remember. Smashing the glass in. But I mean, it's hearing you be
Kick
like that.
out
It's
your
like, go
teeth.
on, man. Kick out your teeth. There we go. Like I did have to have my teeth kicked out because I haven't remembered the lyrics there. But I've got the gaps myself as well.
It's so funny. It's like it's one of the it's weird, but I'll say that's why I love being from Jamaican heritage, man. Like like it's one of the funny things that my mum used to do, even though it scared the life out of me, where she would just remix songs, and it would always be like songs that were my favorites, but they would all be violent to let me know if I don't tidy my room, I'm gonna get beats, I'm gonna get lickings. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like big bell to make you jump, jump. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, no, man, like no. So like over the years, like I'll pick up on a song and then I'll end up just violently remixing it in Jamaican and stuff.
Brilliant.
And
So
that
is there
like
something, is there a reference to the original tune that you've remixed in there somewhere? Is there a tiny little clue? And I'm not going to ask you to say what that is or anything, but are there little miniature like shells of Easter eggs in there that maybe if you really thought about it in a particular way, you might be able to join the dots and go back to the original?
more, I would say more influences to like people like Bounty Killer, Elephant Man, Beanie Man, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ninja Man, do you know what I'm saying? Like sound clashes and things like that. Those are the influences behind things like that. Like, especially when it got because that was actually that vocal is actually in a vocal pack. It was actually part of the vocal pack that me and Madrush put out through by the producer. Hold tight by the producer. Hold tight Headex for bringing
Wow.
out a resource like that as well. Like that was sick. And that like
Yeah.
and
Wow.
actually
Go on.
putting money in artists' pockets. Do you know what I mean? Like I will always respect Headex for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
remember when he called me up about it. We'd done a news story on UKF and stuff, and it felt revolutionary at the time because he was bringing people together, and he was nowhere near the level he is at now. So it wasn't like he had, he knew what position he was working himself into, but it wasn't like he was in a position to do that. He really worked hard to bring these people together in those first couple, and then he kind of blew up then,
yeah,
anyway. But no, I
yeah.
still remember that fondly. That was when I got to know head X at that kind of time doing interviews for that. So that's wicked to
Hmm.
use your own sample pack. So we got
No
one
problem.
more tune, one more favorite each now. So I'm intrigued at what you're going to pick for your last one.
Okay, so for my last one, it's Crooked Teeth. It's most definitely
Yeah.
Crooked Teeth.
I fight my morbid speech accordingly, but still the claws will keep on hoarding flaws and pour them all over my glory's peak. I know the climb is steep, but still I won't admit defeat. These sordid preachers scoring chalk all over what's in store for me.
Just bearing all of my insecurities, all of the things that I'm dealing with, the loss of my mom, the fears that I have, you know, like even my failures, but still at the end, like proclaiming, no, do you know what I mean? I will succeed. Do you know what I mean? Talk is cheap. I'm deep in forethought while I pause you fleets, ignoring all of you please. See me laughing while your source depletes. Like I'm still going to carry on regardless of all of my flaws, all of these things that you think you can hold against me. You can't because I hold my head up high and keep a smile with all my crooked teeth. Done.
Literally goosebumps all over, man. Like, I mean, I hope that people don't hold these things against you, and you're talking to a metaphorical enemy that's also the enemy up there that's stopping you from doing things.
Mhm.
And I hope that there aren't real life people who hold these stupid things against you because it's normally these are the type of things that you hold against yourself, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but the world can be cruel. Social
Yeah.
media and the internet can most definitely be cruel and stuff. Like there's so many things, especially nowadays, that are built to bring you down more than build you up. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that seems, especially when that seems to be a good way of making money, bringing in
Mm,
currency, especially on social media and rage baiting and all this kind of stuff. You know, I would hope that people would be a bit more compassionate and empathetic towards each other. But yeah, the evidence says otherwise, you know.
yeah.
But still, stand tall, stand firm, believe in yourself, try and love yourself. Do you know what I mean? As much as you can, and don't let these things hold you back. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I think, like, these when you do that, certain people gravitate towards you. It's how you and
Hmm.
I have connected over the last like 5, 6, 7 years, really. Certainly in the last couple of years. And the
Yeah,
one time where we met up in Manchester and we did the podcast, which I've still got a bunch of them to edit, like
yeah,
they're kind of dated now, but yourself, Scartip, Mark, Annalise, Lauren, like Lou
yeah,
these days.
yeah,
And it was just like one of these moments just looking around and it's like, besides Michael Scartip, I've known him for a bit longer, but it's like, I've only just met a lot of these people in the last kind of year or so, but we'd all kind of magnetized and we're all just having a laugh in the room. And you get these moments where you look around and it's like, these are my people. Like we're all on the same frequency here. We all get it. And, you know, we're all
Yeah.
completely different people, completely different ages, backgrounds, colors and everything. But we're all completely, how can I forget Glitch Girl as well, Alicia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you
Glitch
know,
Girl as
like
well.
all of
Yeah.
us together. And it was one of those moments because I'd also had some really, really awful news about my mate who is now completely cancer free. He's fought it, like, you know, and
Amazing.
oof, yeah,
Beautiful.
like
Beautiful.
I could almost cry at that, but that was such an emotional day. But it was
Yeah.
one of those kind of epiphanies. It's like, wow, sometimes these things happen out of your control and you meet these people, and I think there are a lot of idiots there and there are some awful people, especially on the internet, and yeah, I've had the worst stuff said to me. Luckily it's not that often, but when you do, it really, really hurts you. But then on the flip side, it's like we'll always remember the one negative comment and not the
Yep.
100 nice things that are said to us. And I know you
Exactly.
can't take compliments particularly well, neither can I, but you always remember that thing that hurts, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's I think when you're being honest, like attracts like, real attract real understand real, what is it, real understands real
Real
recognizes
recognize,
real,
real.
that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the
Yeah.
tongue twister. Real eyes, real eyes, real eyes.
Yes, yeah, go on, go on. I mean, I go ask, with your teeth, is that kind of more of a modern thing, or is that something you've grown up with then as well? Was that something that you always had as a kid as well that you carried? Because I relate with my scars on my face because I had them when I was really, really young. And as a kid, I mean, I covered them up with a cap and stuff, and you don't really see them quite so much now because I've got wrinkles. But as
Yeah.
a kid, I had two really, really vivid red marks on my face, which were
Hmm.
clearly from being an accident-prone kid. Like, and it put a lot of parents off their kid hanging around with me. And I got a bad reputation for being naughty even before I was naughty. And it made me
Yeah.
it made me step into that role because I was already it was already assumed that I was up to no good or I was a troublemaker because I had these big old scars on my face. So
Hmm.
with the teeth, have you been self-conscious of that since childhood? Have you carried that
Yeah.
all the way through?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd lost, like, I'd started getting chips in my teeth, like, from, like, 13, 14 and stuff. And, yeah, like, I brushed my teeth, hygiene. I got beaten with it, like, by my mum. Not figuratively, not
With
literally.
one of
Do you know
those
what I mean?
tunes
Like,
again, I'm trying to wonder what tune she remixed to make
yeah,
sure you.
yeah. There's books on it as well. Based on Jamaican proverbs. But yeah, like having a sweet tooth as a kid as well. Do you know what I mean? Like most kids do. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, and then finding out from the dentist, like you've actually got weak teeth. Do you know what I'm saying? And stuff. That's why I drink a lot of milk now. Like it's just that that knock on thing, that knock on sort of superstition, like, oh, calcium makes your teeth strong. Like, after a certain point, it doesn't. So, but yeah, no, it's always been a thing. Like by I think by 25, I'd lost like four of my back teeth and stuff like that. Like, so yeah, it's always been a thing and stuff. And then when you start seeing people talking about going Turkey and getting veneers and all
Oh, they
that
all look
kind
like
of stuff.
knobheads. They all look like knobheads. Every single one of them. They got the same teeth, like they play the same tunes, like they do the same thing, and it's another example of mainstreamification of people. You know, everybody's got to have the same, and we've like, as British people, we've got a reputation to have, to step up to. We've got to have shit teeth. We are the shit
Yeah.
teeth people of the world, and I we got to represent with pride. I'm torn, but you picked, like, well, you highlighted the one track right at the very end. No more second guesses. Like that was
Yeah.
one of my potentials because, like, by the end of the album, the first time I listened to it properly, knowing that we were going to have this conversation, like, it got me emotional because you've been on this journey with you. But like you said, that's a bookend, I think.
Yeah.
I also wanted to go with Summer Nights because the last time we chatted on one of these interviews, Sahela was with us and she's on there
Yeah.
as well, and just wanted to send love to Sahela. But I think the one that really stood out to, like, my own personal music taste, and again, it's got you going in hard.
No, my name is Diligent, so I have to raise the bar. Always moving militant, all ain't never taking half. You can never stop me, always on my job key. Tell when man are off key, now I'm moving frosty, like my brother Frosty.
In
Yeah.
that way, and there's a lovely reference to Frosty, who, like Brian, I mean, I've got so much respect to Brian. Like, he did this tattoo for me and stuff like that. Like, so I've got a part of him on
Yeah.
my body. And again, you're going in cold, and there's a really nice line. It's like, always moving militant, or they take half.
Yeah.
like don't let people take the piss, stand tall. And these are the ones that really stand out to me, and the ones that I like hearing from you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also it's a nice way of ending, like, what is the next hype after this album as well. But where does that stand for you, that track?
It again. It is another, and it was the most. That was the most recent track that I'd made. To be fair, especially like there's little Easter eggs like Raise the Bar and stuff. Like working with Raise the Bar as their official DJ and part of the core team now and stuff. Funnily enough, as well, Hold Tight Frost, Hold Tight, my brother. Love him. Do you know what I mean? Absolute G. Loving like the progression that he's getting at the moment, the recognition that he's getting at the moment. But that's actually in reference to my two brothers and that.
Ah,
One called
right.
Frosty and one called Crafty. And when I was getting into music, when they were like still in high school and stuff, they wanted to get into music and their thing was grime. They really wanted to get into grime and be grime MCs. And my brother Frosty actually produces still now. He makes grime beats and stuff like that. I helped him.
Apologies then for mixing up the frosts.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, it can reference like Frost as well. Do you know what I mean? Because he's not exactly as the same as my brother, but he doesn't take disrespect. Do you know what I
No,
mean? Once he knows that you're off key with him, and you know what I mean, you're being disrespectful or you're taking him for a joke. It's done. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like tell when man are off key. Now I'm moving Frosty. Do you know what I mean? Like my brother Frosty. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. Like
That's
soon
what I
as
thought you were talking about, Brian. Like, I'm sure I can't remember. I know that you've shared lineups and stuff like that.
yep.
Like, I just like, and it is that assumption that everyone from Manchester knows each other, or all MCs know each other in that way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
um,
it can reach out to that if you're one of them that doesn't take any mess. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm trying to stop myself from swearing, but I'll be quick. If you're one of them that doesn't take any fuckery, like I say
yeah.
in the thing, big man, I'm too old for the fuckery. Hard back can't tell me nothing, they'll call my bluff. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're one of them where you fed up with the bullshit, you fed up with people trying to gaslight you, trying to make you like feel like see things differently to what they are, then yeah, man, you turn frosty. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
You got
you
it.
know.
You got to go cold. You've got it for your own mental health in that type of way, really. In order for you to win your own war within, then you do have to shut people out sometimes. And if they haven't given you that respect or that space, then why are you giving them anything?
Exactly, exactly. Like, to reference another track as well, Hold Tight Subcriminal and that. You might like this one as well. Don't get me started. Like, search that
Yeah.
tune out. Don't get me started. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me mad.
Yes.
The bars are
Yeah.
don't get me mad. Don't get me started before me before me filling out me foot in a your rotted. Going in fully,
Oh,
never going half-hearted, and I won't stop until I see my name charted. And it's getting closer and
yeah.
closer to that point. So thank you to everyone for the support. Thank you to yourself as well, man.
And
Like,
that's the next hype. That's what we're looking forward to next. We'll keep it moving. That's
yeah.
brilliant.
One more thing.